My name is Charles A. Sweet. I was born across the street on Spring Street, and I was born November 19th, 1930. I lived, as I said, across the street on Spring Street, Peacedale, next to the neighborhood guild, across from the village green. Like most all kids, I guess. Played baseball, football out on the village green over at Old Mountain Field. Took swimming lessons at the reservoir. Well, some of the days we probably played baseball. Other days we were swimming up at the reservoir. Sometimes when I was older, maybe 12, 13, 14 years old, and I had a bicycle, we would go to Larkins Pond or up to URI and climb up on the water tower, or down to Narragansett, Galilee. I don't know, enjoyed doing all of it. First job was probably working up at Bird Rock Farm, taking bales of hay and throwing it down to feed the cows. Also clean the stalls where the calves were. And then I worked in the vegetable garden, pulling weeds out in back of the owner's house. And then I think that same summer when I was 12, I worked for the Chevrolet place down on Main Street. It was owned by my great uncle, my Chevrolet, pumping gas and changing tires and all that sort of thing. Well, it wasn't anything in particular that I liked about it, but the store, starting on the left-hand side, was a garage. And across the street was another garage on the corner. Next to that was Maine's Jewelry Store. Next to that was Nye's Hardware, and then the Homelight Bakery, and then the bank. Next to that was Kenyon's, and then the Episcopal Church there, the Church of Ascension, McGrath, Dr. McGrath's place, and then Kingston Sausage, then what later was Damon's Hardware. On the other side of the street, starting up at the starting maybe where River Street enters Main Street. The first building was an apartment building that one of my uncles owned, and then next to that was his Ideal Electric shop. He started repairing automobiles and later on serviced appliances and sold and repaired radios and that type of thing. Next door to that, which is now the tire store, was an Oldsmobile dealer. And next to that was a medical doctor, Dr. Burke. Next to that was the Wakefield branch. And next to that was the two blocks, the Bivona block and the Bell block, that had different businesses in over the years. One of the early businesses downstairs was Adams Drugstore, and then later on it was the First National. In fact, Cy Saraval, who started Belmont Fruit, I wrote a book about the stores that used to be here in 2002.
It's amazing how much you remember all the different stores.
Oh yeah.
What was your favorite store to go into?
I don't know, we went mostly to Tom O'Brien's, which was on Columbia Street here, right across the village green from us, because people in those days didn't have refrigerators, so you had to buy perishables every few days, otherwise it'd go bad. And of course nobody had a freezer, so, and also our kitchen stove ran on kerosene. There's a lot of people, there was no gas, or wasn't even fuel oil, so we would take a 3-gallon jug and go over to Tom O'Brien's and fill that with kerosene, bring it back, put it on the cooking stove. That was used for heat and cooking. Well, I don't have any favorite because I've got tens of thousands, I suppose, and it'd be hard to go through them all and rate them. One common thing that people know about, a couple common things. One is 38 Hurricane, because I was 7 years old at that time, remember it. In fact, we were in school when it started. We walked home during the hurricane. And another thing was the end of the war, end of Japan, end of the war with Japan. It was in the summer of '45, so I was, let me see, I graduated high school, grammar school from here, 1944. So I would have been the end of my freshman year. Well, we were out in the street, as everybody was, and cars were going around blowing their horns, and people celebrated all afternoon. The streets were all lined with people. Well, in thinking about this interview, and I figured I might be asked what did I like about the town, since I've been there my whole life. I've been to 49 of the 58 of the 50 states, so I never was in any one of them that I felt was better than here. A lot of nice places, but in my opinion, not better than here. And I've been to 19 countries, and they were mostly nice too, but not better than here. There's nothing that I can think of that I would want or need that we don't have here. We have the University of Rhode Island, we've got the hospital right in town, Veterans Hospital, and libraries, and I can't think of anything we don't have. All the saltwater beaches, freshwater beaches, everything's available. Well, and going over it, as I said, trying to think of something that somebody might want, a young person, 4, 5, 6 years old, or an older person in their 20s or 50s, or even somebody in their 80s or 90s. What might they want that we didn't have? I can't think of anything. I would like to see the road system improve. Our roads vary from almost well, I wrote a book about Travel Way too, about roads, starting as paths through the woods that the animals made, going all the way up to the interstate highways, and the design of the highways and what the different lines and signs and everything mean. I'm getting off the track. Yeah, the roads. The roads vary from a narrow road. Roads used to be 33 feet wide, 2 rods. A rod is 16.5 feet. That was a common measurement. So originally they were 33 feet, and then pretty soon they moved up to 40 feet, sometimes 50 feet. Many times driving around different places in the country, I would see what I would consider a beautiful road, and a nice 2-lane road with maybe parking on one or both sides, and then a grass strip, probably 6 feet wide or so, 4 feet, 6 feet, and then the sidewalk. And nothing was on the sidewalk other than concrete. Here we have cars parking on the sidewalk. We have some grass strips, not many. Cars park overnight on the grass strips. We have on the sidewalks, which are supposed to be handicapped access, and they spend a lot of money putting in ramps and things so that handicapped people with a wheelchair or whatever, or people with baby carriage could go down the sidewalk. Now there's telephone poles in the middle of the sidewalk, signs and all kinds of fire hydrants. There shouldn't be anything on the sidewalk other than concrete. So I would like to see this ideal type of road, get some of the ones that we already have changed over maybe the next 25 years, get the power companies to get the telephone poles out, and the water company to get the hydrants out. But all new roads, make them comply with one of maybe a couple of new standards.
Yep. Sounds good.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, that's one of the visions people have when they come to visit here. They come on the road. That's one of the first things they see.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice to make a nice presentation.